Howdy y'all, welcome back. We are back again to finish off the rest of the trial for chapter 2. Last time we left off, this is Kanna's murder. Last time we left off finding out that this is very likely to be an accidental homicide, and I'm not sure what to make of that. Right now, I think there's only 3 people who have no alibis right now, who are suspects at this moment. It's us, not Kanna, what am I saying? Kanna's one of the suspects. Kanna's a suspect, Erika's a suspect, Erika, us. What's the girl's name? The girl that is the veterinarian with the white hair. She's the one that's been murdered. I can't remember those people's names right now. But those are the 3 suspects, Kanna, us, and Erika. And accidental homicide. This is crazy. Like, I hope that's not the case. I hope someone like deliberately killed someone. I don't want this to be accidental homicide, because I'm gonna be so upset if someone has to get executed because they did something on accident. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and just get right into the rest of this trial.
Danganronpa.
Okay. Oops. Okay, well, let's go ahead and resume the class trial. Well, this was an expected outcome. It's so unfair. Me too, I was just sleeping in my room. Yes, we know. You know that kind of excuse won't work in this situation, right? She's right. No matter how much I protest that I'm not the one, it's just empty words in this class trial. My heartbeat begins to increase. I was so sure of our deductions when the suspect pool was wide, but now that it's narrowed down, I'm hesitating like this. It's cunning. They're so cunning that it's enough to make me shudder. I started this class trial to determine Kizuki. Okay, I was going to say Kizuki. I was like, it starts with K-I. And I know it ends in K-I. I was like, it's not Kiki. Kizuki was in my mind. I wasn't sure if that was the right one. Okay, I started this trial determined to catch Kizuki's killer myself. But I'm hesitating so much because I feel like I'm in danger. Wait, I don't think I read that right. But that can't be possible. Is there anyone who would like to confess to something early? There is no way that happened, right? Could there really be a culprit among these few? Based on our deductions so far, that seems to be the case. I really can't do this. You want me to interrogate and suspect someone who's right here, staring at me with their eyes wide open? What should I do? What? Are you saying you're giving up this class trial? I'd rather believe Monokuma did this. That would be easier to make my mind at ease. I can't do it. I can't threaten, harass, or point fingers at someone who's right in front of me. I just can't do this. What's this about? After you've been doing so well until now. Now, calm down. I understand this is really tough. It would naturally be overwhelming to know that someone's life hangs in the balance because of our deductions. Well, anyway. If you're feeling mentally overwhelmed, it's okay to take a step back. We won't force you. However, Please don't let your will break. I absolutely can't bear to witness that while I'm still alive. Right, relax. You've got too much in your mind right now, so let's recharge first, okay? I'm sorry, everyone. That's enough for now. We don't have time to worry about the stragglers. We need quickly to find the culprit and escape this moment. Let's get back to the main point. I can't believe there's a culprit among the three of them. What should we do from now on? None of us is the culprit. I don't believe any of them. None of them. I don't believe it. Are they saying one of us is really the culprit? Jumonji and Kanda both had their odd quirks, but they didn't seem like villains.
That guy had no talent, right? A worthless nobody like him, who's worth nothing, dares to think he can set foot in Hope's Academy, the school of the elite of elite? His arrogance is off the charts. I picked him because I didn't like him. Like I said before, I hesitated to kill the rest of you because you're so talented, you know?
Girl, I forgot she said that. That's terrible. Like, you killed Hiruto Iwata for that? For that reason? I completely forgot about that. Is it inevitable? Is it inevitable? I'm confused as how to read this. Is it inevitable to avoid the second time? Is it inevitable to avoid a second time, or is the inevitable avoidable? I don't know how to read that. To be betrayed again by someone I thought was a friend, an ally. If it's unavoidable, I should try to face it as calmly as possible. I focus all my attention to concentrate on the discussion that was about to commence. It's not the time for me to give up yet. Non-stop debate stop. Traces on weapon disappeared. Toilet paper. Definitely. How should this reasoning proceed from here? And how should this reasoning proceed from here?
Right? Are there no more clues of the same?
Certainly, physical evidence in this case was also extremely scarce. Would it be better to review the evidence from the past in times like these?
If you have the means to do so, that is. If anyone knows, raise your hand.
We're not just gonna end it like this, are we? We're not just gonna end it like this, are we? If I recall, there's one particular evidence left at the scene. The ladder, the traces in the weapon. Hold on. How do I change these? Okay. Oh gosh, I missed that. Hold on. How do I skip? Oops, I didn't even do that. How do I skip? Okay. I'm just gonna let it go through. I forgot how to skip. Okay, enter also does that. Fire calls one particular to evidence. Oh! No, this isn't it. I should have chosen carefully. Okay, so this is the step ladder? Oh my god. What the heck? This is the toilet paper. That wasn't at the scene though. Anyway, resume. Actually, there was only one piece of evidence left at the scene.
Huh? What else was there?
Toilet paper. The toilet paper roll that Kizuki used to carry around was gone. I told everyone when the investigation was almost over, don't you remember?
Oh, I remember hearing that. Right, you said she had a rhinitis and left a roll of toilet paper at the library, right?
Yeah, she always kept it by her side when she was investigating the library, but it vanished without a trace of the crime scene. Wouldn't there be a possibility that Miss Kizuki recovered from that? I think the chance is low. The library was full of dust, so being inside the library doesn't solve her allergies at all. It's strange to move the toilet paper somewhere else when she still needs it.
That's certainly the common sense approach, but something still doesn't quite add up.
No, even if that's the case, it wouldn't be the white rabbit who cleaned up the tissues. Oh, what's the reason? According to the reasoning so far, the evidence of the toilet paper has become incredibly important because of the nosebleed.
Nosebleed? Why?
Didn't I tell you earlier? The white rabbit was dealing with gushing blood from her nose, and then she soon died after. And whatever it was that wiped her nose, the culprit took it away. Yeah, you definitely mentioned that. I've said this much, and you still don't get it? Then ask yourself, what on earth would they use to wipe up the blood? Is there other tissue beside the one she usually carries around? Yeah, that was one of the things I thought, that they used the tissue, right? And that's the reason why I think that piece of tissue was stuck inside of that weapon. That piece of paper. It was stuck inside because they're trying to wipe things down, I think. Ah, I see. I wonder about that now. When Kizuki died, her nosebleed must have been dealt with somehow. This is supported by the fact that there was no blood near the body's nose. That's right. There were no blood stains near the nose, so we don't even consider the possibility of a nosebleed. There wasn't anything in the library that could absorb liquids like tissues. There is a way to tear out pages from a book and use them, but as a book lover, she certainly wouldn't have done that. That is a violation of school rules, as mentioned before. It is vandalism.
But even so, if she tries to find tissue somewhere else, her nosebleed will just keep flowing. But other than the smeared marks, there was no additional blood found in the library's carpet. There were no direct stains of blood droplets near Kizuki's sleeves or hands. The smudges— oh, hold on. The smudges on her sleeves are, of course, a separate matter. Then, if I understand correctly, Miss Kizuki handled the nosebleed right there on the spot. The only possible way for that to happen is if she uses tissue she already had. And right after the nosebleed was taken care of, the white rabbit was killed. This also came up earlier, right? In other words, the tissue would have been next to the white rabbit until the culprit arrived. I'm still thinking about the fact that this might be an accidental homicide. Okay. And yet, it has completely vanished. It seems the only possibility left is that the culprit got rid of it. Then, finding the whereabouts of that tissue would be the key to— solving this case, right? Even though you told us that, in the end, we just came to the conclusion we couldn't find it. That's right. We looked everywhere, but we couldn't find it. Yes, I guarantee that as well. So, the conclusion is only one. The culprit got rid of it without anyone knowing. Well, when you say that without anyone noticing, but that's harder than you think in a confined space like this. Looking at the video Shinano filmed,
They really searched the place thoroughly, didn't they? It was hard trying to find it for both of us while being wary of one another.
Well, they must have been wise to either flush it down the toilet or take it to a private room, right? There's quite a few options.
It probably wasn't as simple as Miss Mizuki said. There is a reason for that. The tissue was bulky, right? The reason would be because the tissue was bulky. You can't just flush it down the toilet. Because the toilet paper was not as small as we think. After tearing it open in our unit for a while, it was definitely not a size that could be easily hidden inside clothes.
This talk, I think I've heard it before.
Yeah, it was mentioned at the last trial too. If you're the culprit, you'd naturally be concerned about what others think.
Ah, so that's what you meant. That's true.
Even according to Jumonji, the culprit of this case is trying hard to manipulate the direction of our investigation. Of course, they would have carefully paid attention to each piece of evidence or witness testimony left at the scene. It's unthinkable that they wouldn't have been concerned about others' perceptions. I understand. Can the logic regarding the large cloth still be applied? There might be a slight difference. Of course, a piece of cloth is much larger than a single toilet paper, but since it's equally impossible to hide in one's arms anyway, let's set that aside. There are two significant differences that cannot be ignored. First, time. In the first case, they move during nighttime hours, so the chance of encountering anyone in between is extremely slim. But this time, the incident happened in the afternoon when people were going about their daily lives. Hold on, just 1 second. You're right. No matter how carefully you move, someone might suddenly appear from somewhere and provide a witness account. Second is the destination. In Iwata's case, there was a clear destination near the classroom that absolutely had to be reached. But in the case of this toilet paper, it's different. If you just leave it somewhere out of sight, the purpose is achieved. Then the question is, what conclusion can be drawn from these two differences? There's no need to risk danger and go to all of that trouble, right? You could just leave it somewhere near the library and run away, but there's no need to go through crowded areas and all the way to a private room during hours when people are still awake. That's exactly it. The library and the private room should be quite far apart. I guess the culprit hasn't messed around with this, huh? If they get caught, it's over immediately. Using that witness as fake evidence to confuse the investigation is way too risky, don't you think? Yeah, it's for the same reason as the marks left from mopping the floor. From the culprit's perspective, trying to create misdirection can easily lead to being caught right away. The roles get reversed. So, Shitanda, is that why you were so thorough in checking out the facilities around the library? Not him shaking his head, that's crazy. I can't understand sign language, so just open your mouth. I'll let it slide this one time. Why do you even know sign language? Did you learn it for some trivial reason? Oh, okay. Actually, my father is deaf, so I learned to communicate effectively through sign language. I'm quite a good son, if I do say so myself. Whoa. Just kidding. Did you believe that? Okay, you're not helping your point. Like we told you to be quiet because you were trying to mislead and misdirect, and now you just lied again.
Anyway, the answer to your question is correct. We searched the entire school thoroughly, but it's not here. It's unlikely the culprit could have taken it to a private room, given the crowd of people. Then, at best, there'd only be one restroom, warehouse, and locker room. Wait, then at best, there'd only be the restroom, warehouse, locker rooms, right? Exactly, alright, thanks. You can shut up again now. So that's what... So, that's why you only investigated the bathrooms in the school building. Since the bathroom stalls near the dormitory building aren't that far from private rooms, they'd obviously handle it in their own private room if needed to. And we booked into those. Then, the toilet paper must have been secretly placed in one of the three places: bathrooms, warehouse, or locker rooms. How do we know which of the three is? The evidence is sufficiently gathered. Because of this guy, Shitanda went through everything while causing a ruckus, right? Then let's quickly discuss this. Okay, non-stop debate. Kiss alibi sheep, so she's laundry room, warehouse, locker room. Where among the three could have Oh. I vote for locker room. Then I vote for the warehouse. This is not determined by vote. But is there any basis for that judgment? It's not strange even if it's one of the three. There must be something we overlooked. Let's go over this again. Okay. Among the testimonies collected, one related to where the testimony was hidden. Kuzu, right? Laundry room, warehouse, and locker room. Where among the three would the culprit have hidden this issue? Can you tell which one of the three? Oops, gosh, I missed it. How do I skip? Ooh, that's not what to do. Good thing I missed it. How do I skip again? Like, I forgot. Okay. Why is it not working? Why did it not work? Okay. Oops. Oh. I didn't know I could do that. Hold on. How do I go back? How did I do that? Okay, A. Oh, nice. I didn't know I could do that with A. Kuzu locker room, right? Mikawa's warehouse. But they went to the diner afterwards. So yeah, Kuzu. I'm right with Kuzu. How do I skip? Excuse me. Okay, maybe I need to hit, no, I need to hit, condos, right? I think so. I don't know why I missed. Why did I miss? And I don't know how to skip. Come on now. Why is it not hitting?
Yeah, I know that's not it, but I don't know why it didn't go through. And how come I lost so much just by hitting the wrong thing once? Okay. Thank you. Oh, that was wrong? Oops. Well, I'm about to get a game over. I thought that was it. Okay, what does Sarashina say? Donna. Yeah. That was not it. Mikawa's alibi? Is this it? So do I need to fight the warehouse? What's this something we overlook? This is something we overlook. Maybe it's that. Women's locker room. Stay to the women's locker room. Stay there until the hour. What do you mean something we overlooked? Mikawa, right? He was at the warehouse for 10 minutes. Ego 12 explored the warehouse together. Left briefly at 16 minutes. Grabbed the ladder at 18 minutes. Returned 20 minutes. Continued to investigate it till 45 minutes. Placed the ladder back at 47 minutes. And arrived at the diner. Sent to the hour. I don't know. I'm like, it could have been in the warehouse. That's why I'm not trying to hit it. And why do I lose 3? Why do I lose 3 stars at once? It's so annoying. Oh, hold on, let me plug it. Because it's about to die. And I'm using that for my camera. Among the testimonies collected, there was one related to where the technical was hidden. Right? I think it's Kuzu's alibi. Kuzu. Maybe I need to hit Kuzu. Kuzu. I vote for the locker room. I vote for the warehouse. Maybe I need to hit warehouse. How do I skip? I'm gonna see if I can find a way to skip. Let's see. Oh wait, no, didn't I already do that? I did that the first time, actually. I did that the first time. I don't know. That was so dumb of me. What am I doing? Come on, focus, focus. I can't give up here. I did that the first time. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I should have known not to do that. Why does Mikawa's alibi affect the warehouse? I'm confused. Maybe I'm just missing something. It doesn't seem like it could be the warehouse, at least. There is testimony that contradicts this so far. Huh? There is? Which one? Which one? It is the precisely Mikawa's testimony. Of course, since he's been with Engel for a long time, it's also Engel's testimony. I know, but weren't you in the locker room for like how long? But I guess you can't go into the men's locker room. Okay, I was just focusing on the wrong thing. That's right. Mikawa and Engel said that they stayed in the warehouse together from 4:12 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. The crime occurred between 4:30 p.m. and 4:47 p.m. So if the killer had to hide the toilet paper after the murder, it probably wasn't the warehouse where the two of them were. I see. That makes sense. From the culprit's perspective, they would have wanted to dispose of the toilet paper as quickly as possible. So how about the bathrooms? So how about the bathrooms? They could swipe it out with a relatively smaller roll of toilet paper that's hanging there. And then after putting it in their pocket or hiding it in their clothes, they stroll casually to the private room. No, that's not right either. That's right. There was a decisive difference between the toilet paper hanging in the bathroom and the one that Kizuki carried around. What was the difference? Lee line cut. Oh, okay. Oops, gosh. Ooh. Cut line? Is that it? Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yoshi, ひらめいた.
Resume trial. It's the cut line. There's a slight difference. That's the slight difference. Cut line? Try to remember what happened before.
とにかく
Anyway, the verification in this bathroom is complete. It seems that none of the toilet paper has a perforation line. It's the same in the girls' bathrooms.
どうだろう.
How was it? There wasn't a perforation line here either. Do you remember? None of the toilet paper in the bathrooms had perforated or cut lines.
Is that really important?
It is important because toilet paper? What's that for?
Actually, I have a bit of rhinitis, so since there's a lot of dust here, my nose keeps running. Achoo! There were a lot of rows of toilet paper stacked in locker room lockers, right? I brought one from there.
Kizuki then tore off a bit of the tissue along the perforated line and rubbed it on her nose. The toilet paper Kizuki brought had perforated lines. I explained it earlier, remember?
Oh, did that happen?
The existing cutting lines cannot disappear, right? So the bathroom is also not the correct answer. So it's the locker rooms, right? Okay. So I was getting to this answer, I was getting to this point, but I just was not doing it the right way. Okay. That's right. So the remaining answer is Miyuki? Kuzu. Kuzu did it. I mean, I was suspicious of Kuzu, but I was like, Kuzu can't do it. Not right now. Not the second trial. What's the point in deliberating? There's only one choice left now. It's right there, in the locker room. If you mean the locker rooms, then I felt the murmuring. Perhaps some have already noticed the unexpected turn of events. Yeah, that's right. It was impossible to enter either the women's locker room or the men's locker room or the women's locker room. So which choice do you think they had? That Miss Misaki and Miss Tsubaki, you mentioned spending time together in the women's locker room from 15 to 45 minutes. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's the same logic as in the warehouse. Of course, you can't bring the toilet paper if someone's inside, and that means... Okay, I'm confused. So culprit's male? Is that what it's trying to say? Are we trying to say that the culprit is male? So that means I must be the one? Are we? Come on now. There's no way we accidentally killed Kizuki. That doesn't make sense. Hold on now. We were asleep the whole time. Wait. The second and final condition. The culprit is male. Yeah. That's the final conclusion. I cannot wait. After a dizzying feat of deduction, the essence unearthed after putting our heads together, it's clear who the culprit is. There's no way they wouldn't know. Their name is... I'm confused! How am I the culprit? Are we, like, is this real? Or is this... Wait. Is this real, or are we just going along with the story? Like, we cannot be accepting that we are the culprit. There's no way we're the culprit. Are we going to change protagonist again? Which means, Miyuki Nozomi, I'm saying there is no one else who could be the culprit but you. Someone is framing us. We are being framed. What? What do you mean? Miyuki Nozomi is the culprit. That's the only conclusion I've reached. Can't be. Miyuki, even if others don't know, you must perfectly understand the deductions made so far. You know as well as I do how meaningless that answer is in this situation. It seems like you're denying the crime. If that's the case, tell me. Explain why you're not the culprit, yeah. He's saying nothing at all. Come on, Miyuki. Is it you? Oh, wait. The argument hasn't concluded yet. For now, put away your sharp stares and gather our... Wait. For now, put away your sharp stares and gather our thoughts. Even if it didn't end perfectly, Miss Misaki, what specific points do you think we need... Wait. What specific points do you think need further clarification? that I haven't quite figured it out yet, but don't you think we should try to retrace our steps anyway?
Yes, I think there are plenty of reasons to examine it more closely.
There's no harm in being careful. Even if the odds seem high, it's ultimately a matter of our lives on the line. Though it's rather suspicious that you're not saying anything at all. I mean, I can't say anything at all. We've been asleep the whole time. I've been asleep. I can't... I can't think at all. I want to shout absolutely not right now, but that's all I can do. No evidence or logic has been given to me that I'm not the culprit. My mind is a complete mess, like neurons tangled and twisted in every turn. I am not the culprit. Right now, I'm the only one who knows that better than anyone. So what argument should I make? How can I save everyone from the brink of extinction? It's not that I have nothing to say. Can I ask you a few things? Yeah, of course. Misaki and Tsubaki said they left the changing room at 45 minutes, but Mikawa brought the ladder at 75 minutes, right? Can we elaborate more during that 2-minute window? In other words, how do you clean the murder scene between the 2 minutes? And how do you want to tell the possibility that you immediately ran into the women's locker room? To put the toilet paper there. Yeah, that's it. But Mikawa didn't see us, though. It's not impossible. They ran into Mikawa on the stairs in the middle of it. Meaning as... Wait. Wait. Meaning, as soon as Kuzu and Tsubaki disappeared from the second floor, Mikawa appeared. And right after that, Kuzu came up saying she was going to get a towel. Then later, she locked herself in the locker room again to work out. Even if the culprit somehow finished the murder at 43 minutes, spent 1 minute eliminating evidence, and left the scene in another minute, they still could have entered the women's locker room.
Still, toilet paper can be disposed of at any time, right? If you wait until Misaki leaves...
Why wait for that? You'd expect them to stand outside the door holding the toilet paper that they can't even hide in their pocket until Kuzu comes out quietly? But isn't that the case? Misaki alone testifies credibility drops.
What is that guy saying? It seems that the claim that she returned to the locker room and stayed until the hour is considered less reliable because it's only Miss Misaki's testimony alone. Yeah, that's right. Of course, I could vouch for her when we were together, but after we broke up, I can't say for sure about Misaki's actions. That doesn't mean that Misaki's the culprit, though.
It seems that there's some misunderstanding. Kuzu's already been excluded due to condition number 1. What we're discussing right now is condition number 2.
Number 1? Number 2? What do those numbers mean?
Like they said, the person without an alibi from 4:30 p.m. to 4:47 p.m. is the culprit. That's condition 1. A male as the culprit could be the second condition. Don't you think?
I see. I understand that now.
Okay, but the thing is, Misaki and Kanda found me in my private room. Right? So, I ended back up in my private room. So that means I wouldn't have had to go to the locker room. I could have just gone to my private room. If I was a culprit. Because I was in my private room when the body was discovered, and no one apparently saw me go into my private room. I don't know, am I just misunderstanding that? The story about the toilet paper is ultimately only addressed in condition 2, therefore, since Misaki was already excluded as a suspect due to the first condition, her testimony can be considered credible. I hope y'all can't hear my sibling yelling from their room, because they're being very loud right now. Hopefully the mic's not picking that up. The testimony from those excluded from suspicion can be trusted. As you mentioned just now, it is undoubtedly an extremely important point in deduction. By that same logic, the testimony of the coward guy who broke up with the engineer is also credible. Then, the only place that the culprit could have put the toilet paper is the men's locker room, right? That's the conclusion. Do you have any other counter-arguments? Didn't we already talked about this? No, I mean, you kind of given desperate. You kind of given desperation right now. You giving off desperate vibes at this moment, saying stuff like, we've already talked about this too pokey. We've already talked about it. It's already been talked about. This is giving desperate. You know what I mean? You getting a little desperate. Wouldn't there be other ways to dispose of the toilet paper? Like flushing it down the toilet, for example? I mean, we don't know how much she used it, though. We only saw it that she could have used a lot of toilet paper between the time I first saw it and when she died, so. That seems impossible. You said it was almost an unused toilet paper, right? You can't just flush it whole, can you? And you have to loosen it a little, tear it a little, then flush it a little at a time. Even after using the toilet, you have to wait a bit for the water to flush down. Doesn't that take too much time? It'll probably take at least 20 minutes or more. If you get greedy and the toilet accidentally gets clogged, it can serve as very damning evidence. They can't spend that much time on covering up the evidence. If someone catches them in the meantime, it's all over. Or maybe reducing the size. How about that? After unraveling all the toilet paper, they take off their clothes and wrap it around them. Hello? Is he? Wait. Right around themselves. They should be able to make it work somehow. Doesn't that feel similar to flushing it down the toilet? It's a lot of work just to take everything off, and then when you have to put it all back on, how can you keep anyone from noticing? I see. Ooh, what the heck? Ooh. I mean, I feel like, what's his name will speak up. Shitanda. Are there no other counter arguments? From the start, everything you said can be refuted with basic arguments that are already established. Don't you think we need to come up with more innovative ideas to have a meaningful discussion? Let's say I mention the culprit's name first. Naturally, countless question marks will follow. Why is that person the culprit? I have to explain one by one why that guy is the culprit. Since you can't figure out yourself, it'll probably take a while for you to understand. The most important reason is that the culprit, upon hearing my explanation, immediately comes with an excuse, while giving them a chance to fight back. But if we identify the culprit based on a conclusion that everyone agrees on through discussion, then that means the culprit's escape route was blocked? That's exactly what I mean. You understand now, Tsubaki. You understand now, Tsubaki? I could finally see how cunning Shitanda was. A criminal cornered like this would definitely been unable to come up with any excuses. They'd essentially be hanging themselves. But I'm not the culprit. That is something I know best. Nevertheless, I find myself offering only basic excuses that don't even stand up to counter arguments, spewing out unconvincing attempts of persuasion. To think I discovered his danger at a time like this is already too late. It seems that Mr. Miyuki is finished with his rebuttal. Is he starting to run out of answers? I don't know. I don't want to doubt Miyuki, but I don't think he could argue any further. Me too. The fact that I have to doubt is so painful, but maybe this could be the final answer. No, please don't give up on me. Give up on me. Just a little longer. I have to think this through with everyone. Miyuki, do you have anything else to say? It doesn't have to be a logical rebuttal, just say something. This is so embarrassing! This is embarrassing! I am not the culprit. What's the reason? Ooh, Mayu is really coming for us. She is really coming for us. You're still not giving up? Why are you so on us? She is on us. She is on us. No, you the culprit, Mayu. You are the culprit. She the culprit. She the culprit. She trying to finish this case up. She's trying to hurry this up so we can go ahead and vote me off so she can graduate. She's the culprit. I don't know. Let me look at A. I can't look at my true bullets again. I want to look at her. I want to look at her alibi again so I can see. I don't know. I'm just making accusations. Didn't I mention this before? I hate wasting time more than anything. Oh, okay. Okay, Mayu. Okay, she's trying to help us speak. Okay, she's trying to help us. She's trying to help us. How long must I wait for you? How long must we watch you keep your mouth shut without How long must we watch you keep your mouth shut without even offering an effective response? Choose one of the two. Either rack your brain to figure it out, or just admit it. Showdown, stop. Oh! I want to go for it! I'm just... What are you having like what? You well, obviously understand, right? Sorry, I messed up. Are you still going to make such superficial arguments? I can't even do anything without even... Are you fine even if you have to... Okay. So it seems something like you're being accused of the same look. Fine, I'll just say it then because I made up my mind. Gosh, this is crazy. Is this really the answer? We don't even know Miyuki's motives to begin with. Actually, that motive is also ambiguous. Unlike the first motivation that would have shocked anyone, wasn't it impossible to predict what influence this new motive would have? This incident is said to be the crime of passion, so only Miyuki knows what triggered him to wield a weapon. Oh, crime of passion? Okay, that must have been lost in translation. Because I heard accidental homicide, and I heard that it's like they knocked something over, or they, I don't know, bumped into them, and they died. I'm like, how do you, huh? Crime of passion, that's not accidental homicide. That's a homicide, manslaughter, but not murder, but that's not an accidental homicide. Okay, crime of passion, is that what the translation was supposed to be? Okay, I was confused by that. I was like, how is this an accidental homicide? There are no clues we can obtain about his emotional turmoil. We talked our heads off on the first day, didn't we? Saying you were late, that you had amnesia, that there was something suspicious about you, that we couldn't trust you. It might have been a reason that couldn't even be imagined by ordinary thinking. Even so, I didn't expect something like this. A person that they can't trust. Those words severed the last rope I was desperately clinging to at the edge of the cliff. Nozomi, no! Nozomi! I know full well that I'm not a murderer, right? On what basis? On a topic I don't even remember considering? Yeah, maybe there's no need to hide it anymore. The fear I held for the other side of my consciousness, a place I didn't know if it would be empty or on the contrary overflowing. There would have been countless nights spent pondering about myself, fantasizing, and then trying to fall asleep. There were also times when I tried to grasp through the pages of lost memories, attempting to move forward. I can no longer ignore the disposition that I do not trust myself, which I had been desperately trying to acknowledge. During that 1 hour, the estimated time of Kizuki's death, did I really take a nap in my private room? Was he an unreliable narrator? Like, I just assumed that he did take a nap for that long. I'm like, you slept the whole day. Did he not take a nap? Like, was he just sleepwalking? Was he dissociating and did something without us knowing? Is there really a zero chance that I might have unconsciously gotten up and gone to look for Kizuki? Bad end? Bad end? Opening the door, walking down the hallway. What do you mean bad end? What did I do? Wait, what did I do? What did I do? Wait. He's not saying anything. They're still speaking over this though, so I don't think the game is about to shut off. Perhaps it's true. It may be some kind of recognition. Arrived at the library, took out a book.
Miyuki, she seems a bit suspicious. I saw before. There are many videos in his motive, like water or something. I'm not so sure about this.
Walking softly on the carpet, approaching Kizuki. You're really saying Miyuki's the culprit? No, we should not, Monokuma!
It seems like we're starting to reach a consensus. Should we move straight to voting? I'm starting to get restless just sitting here.
Then, can we conclude that our deduction ends here? Does anyone have any final thoughts or opinions? Shitanda, come on, Shitanda. Kanda's alibi. Wait, what? So, we think Miyuki Nozomi is the Miyuki Nozomi is the culprit will be the final answer. Shitanda, what do you think? Okay, so we're playing Shitanda right now. That's wrong. Huh? Oh, we're doing that. That's wrong. Oh, okay.
Okay. Whoa, that's surprising. You're the kind of person who can make that much noise?
So you finally have a proper rebuttal this time? Yes, I finally remembered. The reason for why I can't be the culprit. Don't give up on me, okay? Let's figure this out together. Right? Alright? No. I was wrong to act all high and mighty about finding out the person killed Kizuki when I can't even come up with this much on my own. I'll win. I'm not gonna fall for the culprit's trap anymore. So, are you going to tell us? I'm curious to know the reason. The reason why I'm not the culprit is because there are two other people here who can support the explanation besides me, but neither of them seems very reliable. Because I'm thinking like Mikawa and Kanda came and got us out of our room. Like that should count for something, right? We was in our room, so we ain't have time to. I mean, I don't remember when both of them came. But I think the fact that we were in our room should support the fact that we didn't go to the locker room, that we went to our room. If supposedly we did go out and commit the culprit, like we didn't go to the locker room. Kanna, do you mind if I ask you something?
Yes?
You mean no? If you ask, do you mind? Say, no, I don't mind. Oh, I heard. They're the person who can prove I'm not the culprit. It's a rather unexpected name to be brought up, if I'm being honest.
Hey, why are you treating me like this?
Based on what we mentioned earlier, you remember, right? My hydrophobia. Oh, yes, because the locker room door was open the whole time, so the pool was visible, so he couldn't have gone in there. Oh, I remember now. Hydrophobia? What are you talking suddenly? Hydrophobia. Right, actually, I have that condition. It might sound a bit unexpected. It's definitely a bit sudden, I must admit.
No way! Hydrophobia? How did you find that out?
Even I, who's been gathering all sorts of information about you, I'm hearing this for the first time. Have you been hiding this until now? Miyuki, you drank water from a cup without hesitation when you were eating, didn't you? Is that unrelated?
Yeah, you're right. It seems like he's showering regularly too.
So many questions are coming up since this is such a sudden announcement. My hydrophobia is typically described as a fear of water that's contained or stagnant and has depth. It's not a problem with just a cup of water or water from the shower.
There's no reason to think it's strange. Hydrophobia often happens in such cases. In severe cases, even washing is impossible, but usually they fear something containing or pooling water with depth. It's not strange you didn't notice, since there's never been a deep pool here before.
Izuki, you truly leave me with the right answers, aren't you? So, how does that prove that Miyuki is not the culprit? Kanna will tell you that. Kanna, you met Kizuki and I in the locker room while investigating when the second floor first opened, right? Do you remember that? Please, answer as honest as you can.
Yeah, at that time.
Oh, can I tell them about it? Hey, I told you to shut up.
No, why? Why is everyone picking on me? I'm one of the few people who clearly knows the truth.
Well, what are you talking about? There's nothing to listen to. They're just trying to muddy the water somehow. No, actually, even Shitanda knows the story. Maybe even knows it better than Kanna. What? However, I couldn't trust him at all, so I was just trying to get testimony from Kanna. Aren't both of them fine? It also allows for cross-verification.
That's right. Even if Mr. Shitanda were even if Mr. Shitanda were to have ill intentions again, Miss Kanna is here.
Okay, this is convincing. I'll allow it. So, do you want to start with Shitanda's story?
Do you think people are like machines that spit out testimonies because you poke at them?
I volunteered to speak, raising my hand out of my own accord, but if that's how I'm treated, my mood just completely plummets. Say it. Okay, if Ego's going to be like that, I can't help it. I'll tell you. As Kanna said earlier, Miyuki's motive video was completely about water. I wonder what the motivations of a person with amnesia might be, and as I glanced at it, all I saw were quick flashes of waterfalls, lakes, rivers, and oceans. I looked at Miyuki's expression thinking something was off, and he looked terribly frightened.
Miyuki's changing expressions aren't exactly common, aren't they? So I started to wonder if he has some connection to water. That's definitely not a usual occurrence. Yeah, it's quite a remarkable thing. What sort of image had you guys had of me? See, you're saying that with a completely blank expression. Even if it's to reveal the truth, having my secrets peeled back layer by layer by others isn't a pleasant feeling. Can't even begin to imagine what the Daiwa was feeling during the last trial. Anyway, I couldn't stop thinking about it, so afterward... Anyway, I couldn't stop thinking about it afterward, and eventually the opportunity came. While investigating the second floor, I unexpectedly ran into Miyuki, and wouldn't you know it, the location was the locker room. So, I opened the door leading straight to the pool. I never seen someone have such a severe seizure before. His eyes rolled back, he screamed and rolled around on the floor. What did you say? Seriously? Yeah, I was curious to see how to react, so I showed it to him. I was worried things were getting dangerous, so I pulled him out of it right away. Since Kizuki and Kana, who were also in the women's locker room... Since Kizuki and Kana, who were in the women's locker room next door, had also come out because they heard the noise, they knew about it too. Oh, since Kizuki's gone, it's just Kana alone now. I had no idea you experienced such a severe phobia. Wait, you're just brushing it off like it's nothing, but you almost killed someone, didn't you? You are truly the worst, Mr. Shitanda, to go to such lengths just to justify your curiosity. Let's stop there. In any case, I understand that Mr. Miyuki suffers from hydrophobia. Miss Kana, is there any falsehood in that testimony? No, it's exactly the same as what I recall. Then there's nothing to suspect. The question is how that proves Miyuki isn't the culprit. There's no need to worry about that. There are 3 facts that can be known from my testimony just now. 3 facts? First, Miyuki is very afraid of water. That's a given. Secondly, Miyuki has a seizure the moment deep water enters his field of vision. At the time, Miyuki was extremely far from the pool entrance, but just a glimpse of the pool was enough to trigger such a severe reaction. Third, the men's and women's locker rooms are not soundproof. If a scream happens in the men's locker room, it would be natural to hear it in the women's locker room and vice versa. That sounds odd. It sounds like Miyuki would have had a seizure in the men's locker room. Yeah, a seizure would have happened. There's a reason why too. That is because the doors were open. Monokuma told us the pool door was broken from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Oh, to put it briefly, the doors leading to the pool are broken, both on the men's and women's locker rooms. I left them open from around 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. because it was stuck that way. Figuring I couldn't wait any longer, I fixed them real nice while you guys were investigating. Even so, it might break down again, so I'm planning to keep the store out of service for a while.
The killer's opportunity to hide the toilet paper was right after the murder, when they were leaving the scene, so it would have been somewhere between 4:30 p.m. and 4:47 p.m. But at that time, the swimming pool door of the men's locker room was open. Do you think that would have happened if I had... What do you think would have happened if I had stepped into the men's locker room in that state? With the sight of the swimming pool spread out before you, it would have triggered a seizure right away. And there's no way Tsubaki and I, who were right next door in the women's locker room at that time, wouldn't have heard it. That's... Now that I Think about it. That's true, isn't it? Hey, Monokuma, are you sure about the testimony you gave earlier?
Yes, that's correct. As I told you before, I never lie about trial-related matters.
Then Miyuki isn't the culprit either? Could we think of some other possibilities? For example, if Mr. Miyuki had only opened the door a little, he might not have been very surprised to see the water. Exactly, right? If he opens the door a little, wouldn't he not be able to get inside? He opens it just a little to check who is inside, and then he carefully enters while avoiding to look at the water. I think that should resolve the issue, and it's not a particularly time-consuming task. That being said, even when I just opened the door a little back then, he immediately had a seizure, so the possibility doesn't seem right, does it? Does it? In the midst of it all, I never expected such an intense reaction just by slightly opening it. After watching the MAUVE video, he was surprised for just a moment. Besides, anyone who has ever slightly opened a random door and peeked inside would notice. The view that you get through the narrow gap is much wider than you may expect. I think it's at least significant enough that it can't be ignored. What do you think? I don't know anything about phobias, and I haven't seen Miyuki in a panic attack, so I'm not very convinced. And what really bothers me is that the person who saw it up close was none other than Chitanda. Okay, but why would Okay, anyway. I mean, I guess she's trying to say that Chitanda's trying to make them get the wrong answer, but he ain't gonna die, so he's going to give y'all the right answer eventually. Okay, anyway. Me again? If it were true, wouldn't it be quite difficult to see Miyuki as the culprit? I, to be honest, am quite concerned about the fact that it is Chitanda's testimony. Still, I want to believe that testimony. And Kanna's here. Kanna knows. Come on now. At least it's better than bad-mouthing Miyuki. I guess this is alright. No, it's not about criticizing or defending. If that's the focus, the question of who's the actual culprit won't fundamentally be solved. Still, I can understand that feeling. It's easier to trust someone than to blame someone. But if Miyuki isn't the culprit, then the number suspect goes back to 0, right? Then who on earth is the culprit? Another dead end? Didn't I just tell you? The culprit set a trap. We fell for it twice already. At this point, it's clear that this is just someone's misdirection, right? And I can tell where our reasoning is headed. Miss Ego, does anything else come to mind? Have we hit a dead end? First, Chitanda, you definitely testified correctly, right? You're not lying again, are you? You're wrong, so wrong. Your deduction went off track and you went attacking an innocent person into this. Are you trying to twist things around? You're the one who created this unbelievable situation with all your deceit. You must understand that it's not so strange about me suspecting you, right? That doesn't change the fact that Miyuki is not the culprit. I repeat, if Miyuki had actually tried to go into the locker room, he wouldn't have me seen the pool, and there's no way he wouldn't have had a seizure either. Looks like you're feeling pretty confused now that your confident deductions turned out to be wrong, huh? Another mistake. Wait, this setup feels like deja vu, or is it just me? What do you mean? You mean that time? During the previous trial, While discussing how the cloth could have been taken to the safe, she overlooked the bag that the blonde girl was carrying and apologized for it. Yeah, that's exactly it. Failing to notice a cello case that was right here in plain sight and missing the obvious cues. If she just paid a little attention, she would have realized the phobia and not made a false deduction that nearly led everyone to their deaths. Which one do you think is more sinister? Oops, now that I think about it, it seems that both of those things were done by the same person. Don't push it now. Where exactly Miyuki's hydrophobia is something that I could be where exactly Miyuki's hydrophobia is How exactly is Miyuki's hydrophobia something that could be known if I just paid a little attention? Among those who know, including you, there are only 3 of us here. How could you have known? Well, by luck? By chance? Are you seriously not understanding why I'm putting up with all this criticism just to stay up with this group that Kuzu leads? What? Deduction or reasoning is not like math, or 1 + 2 = 3, you idiot. People are not symbols like numbers or letters, but independent entities with will and individuality. You must carefully observe and remember each detail, storing the information away before you can even begin to deduce anything. For such a reason, you don't want to be separated from us? Understanding and observing peoples is fundamental. How can you act all high and mighty about making deductions when you don't even know that much? Because you're so caught up in that ego, you overlook his phobia and your vision narrows naturally, causing you to miss other obvious possibilities. Oof. And I oof. What do they say on the internet now? What do the children say? Clock it. Clock it. Enough. Echo did her best, though the investigation has actually made progress. If I hadn't ordered you to keep your mouth shut, we wouldn't have made it this far without her help, would we? Even if the outcome was not good, we have no right to criticize that effort. Because of that effort, we almost got killed, didn't we? Okay, fine. I was just making a fair criticism. You might think that way, but does criticizing Ego solve anything in the situation? We're looking for the culprit who killed a person, not the one who made a wrong deduction. Do you understand? No, but the fact that she's even trying to deduce things is dangerous. Stop doing that! Go ahead and try and say something else. Oh wait, why am I doing like an Australian accent? No. Go ahead and try saying something pointless. Try me. I don't think you've forgotten what permission I was asked from everyone since yesterday, have you? Oh! Calm down, Kuzu! Calm down! Calm down, Kuzu, please. I'm scared. What? Are you going to hit me? Kuzu, calm down! You've already accepted corporal punishment, haven't you? If you don't listen, I'll have no choice but to use force. I don't like that. If I get hit by you, I won't just end with a broken bone or 2. I've hardly ever experienced corporal punishment, and I don't like it either. But remember, I can compromise my beliefs as much as I want when dealing with someone who doesn't understand me. Got it? Calm down. Calm down. Calm down, please. I'll control myself. Please spare me. So, Shitanda, judging by your words and actions until now, it seems that you've already given your answer. Is the conclusion that Miyuki is the culprit correct or not? It is not. That is certain. If you catch me lying again, feel free to twist my ankles. What part of that is the problem? Because based on the current conclusion, the culprit shouldn't even exist. No need to overthink it. Remember the trap the corporate set that Jumanji mentioned earlier? You all fell right in that perfectly. So then, what kind of trap is that? Don't rush. Think about the characteristics of the weapon. Then the answer will come to you. The weapon? If it's the weapon, then... You mean the Holtz Peak Academic Class 59 graduation album? That's what I was saying! I was saying that! I'm like, there's no way. There is no way. I was saying that. Like, this is not the weapon. When, what's his name? Shinano brought that up to the library and put it down. They found it, was able to go and make, was able to obfuscate the weapon. I was like, this, I don't know. I don't believe that a book could be the weapon. It don't make no sense. You hit someone with a book, they're not gonna die. Unless you bang their head against the bookshelf or something like that. I don't know. Or against a cement floor. Yeah, is that really the weapon? What are you saying? Is he suggesting that we cast doubt on the murder weapon? That would be like shaking the very foundation of the deduction. If we go into more detail, some might come to mind. Okay. Oh gosh, this thing again. Logic dive stop. How do I jump again? Excuse me, please. Oops. Oops, gosh. We should just fall off if we, oh gosh. If we hit. I don't know why they're giving us leeway. The bookcase has blood and skin tissue. Oops. Okay, the first time I actually fall. It's possible to remove the book from the case. Yes. Okay. I'm so bad. Okay, why did I jump over that? But anyway. There were plenty of books. Because it was just one of many albums. Okay, I don't know how this fixes the situation though. Because you're just saying that it's a different book. Okay. So is this a different book? I'm confused. So that's how it is. They can switch the case of the album used as the murder weapon with another album. What did you say? Oh, wait. They can switch the album of the case. The murder weapon. Okay, this is what I'm thinking is happening, but I'm confused. So they're trying to say that they didn't need to wait until Shinano came and brought that book back to the library because they could have used any other book, any other album. But and they could just change the case once Shinano had the book available. But what I'm confused about is, was she hit with the book itself, or was she supposed to be hit with the case? Okay, so she's hit with the case. Is the album on the case or on the book? I mean, I don't know if the album has the number on it, or the book.
What did you say?
That's right. The graduation albums of Hope Speak Academy have the same size and thickness, making them indistinguishable. I haven't really looked at the other albums. Is that true? I saw them too during the investigation. Every one of them looked the same. The only difference is the number written on the book's spine. In other words, all cases are identical. Okay, so the case could be swapped out with, because there's no number on it, so they can just take the book from a different thing. Okay. So yeah, that's the problem. Okay, so they're saying they use a different book, and then later on, Shinano had to go when Shinano brought that book back, they could take Shinano's book and change the cases. Okay. Well, of course, not only are the cases identical, but the size and thickness of the books are perfectly the same. And there are so many of them lined up like this. That design is a bit of a failure, isn't it? You can't tell them apart just by looking at the case, can you?
If that's the case, then what exactly happened? I understand that swap is possible, but
the reason we initially suspected the 59th class album was involved in the crime was because blood and skin tissue were found stuck to the case containing the album. Okay. But that's an issue that can be easily manipulated by swapping out the case. First, they killed Kizuki with an album other than the 59th album. Then, wait until Shinano brings the 59th album. After that, when the album arises, swap the cases with the 59th album and the album uses the weapon, and it's done. Such a simple trick that it hardly qualifies as a trick at all. I then ask, what is culprit trying to deceive with trick? The time. Well, of course it's the crime happened before 4:30. The culprit was trying to hide the fact that they could have committed the crime before 4:30 p.m. Reduced the time of the crime was after 4:30 p.m. because she didn't put the 59th album in the library at 4:30 p.m., right? But if the crime is possible, according to reasoning, even before Shinano arrives, understood. Doesn't that completely overturn the course of our reasoning? Then all our alibis until now will be completely useless, wouldn't they? Right. All the culprit did was briefly return to the scene and swap the album case. Because of that, completely opposite interpretations have emerged. It's quite efficient, isn't it? Even such a simple trick could cause a lot of confusion. Hi, self-proclaimed later. Pull out the list of alibis I gave you earlier once more. You mean this? This, right? Here it is. So what happens now is the culprit used a trick to make it seem like the crime occurred after 4:30 p.m. So that automatically means the crime must have happened before 4:30 p.m., right? But this is important. The logic still holds that the latter occurred. Wait. This is important. The logic still holds that the crime occurred while that power was leaving with the latter. That's the deduction built without any relation to the weapon, isn't it? Absolutely. There's no doubt about that, right? Ultimately, it can be concluded that the crime occurred between 4:18 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. Looking at the alibis back then, engineer girl and the cow were together from 18 to 45 minutes, so they're excluded.
Hey, I wanted to call people by their names. If you say it like that, we can't figure out who you're talking about right away.
A rather intuitive nickname, wouldn't you say? Alright, then let me tell you. Okay, so Ego and Mikawa were together from the 18-minute mark to the 45-minute mark, so they're out. Tsubaki and I were together from the 15-minute mark to the 45-minute mark, so we don't apply either. It was proven by Tadaira and Justin that Sawashina was at the dining hall from 15 to 50 minutes. Tadaira and Justin, it goes without saying that they don't need to be mentioned.
Is that the end?
What happens to the remaining suspects then? Kana, Shitanda, Shinano, Jumonji, Tomoe, Miyuki. 6 people in total. Tomoe is the one with the blue hair. Come on, Tomoe, please don't be Tomoe. I don't want Tomoe. And Shinano, I'd be sad if Shinano was the culprit as well.
Why am I included again? Like this?
Anyway, I say women are incapable of committing the crime, right? Can't we just exclude them? This is not an outdated argument. The estimated time of crime has changed. Even if the estimated time of the crime changed, the fact that there was nowhere to hide the remaining tissue remains the same. Because Ego and Mikawa were in the warehouse from the 18 to 45-minute mark, and Tsubaki and I were in the women's locker room from the 15 to 45-minute mark. In other words, the only place to hide the toilet paper is in the men's locker room, so the logic is that a man of the culprit remains intact. And I should be excluded too, if that logic holds, and the logic that I am not the culprit will also remain intact. Yep. So Shinano and Tomoe. Then the ones remaining are, and also here's the thing, that means someone would have had to know that Shinano brought back a book that could be swapped out. Well, I guess you don't have to know that. I guess you could swap it out. Well, no, you would have to do that because he chose specifically for the 59th album. So someone would have had to come back later after to check, I don't know why they wouldn't just swap the books out now. That's because they would have found an opportunity to obfuscate the time by swapping out the books. So that means they would have had to know that Shinano had bought the book back, but he knew that. Besides Shinano, does Tomoe know that? Does Shitanda know that? Shitanda didn't do this though. Then the ones remaining are Shitanda, Shinano, and Tomoe. That makes 3 of them left. Oh my. 3 newly identified suspects. This time the culprit must be among them, right? Can I say, come on Shinano, please. No you can't. Stop trying to just go with the scapegoat. He's the scapegoat. I don't like this. Can I just say this? The most suspicious one seems to be Shitanda. Understood. Me again? No, honestly, that's true. This isn't nitpicking or prejudice. There's a basis for it. Okay, what's the basis? Shitanda was one of the 3 people whose alibi was certain from the beginning, along with Justin and Tadaira. But now, isn't he one of the final suspects? That is true. That is true. That is true. That is true. Okay, Shitanda, you onto something. You onto something. A suspect would have wanted to have crafted the perfect alibi, but you know, obviously once the alibi breaks down, then there'll be a suspect. Okay, that's smart. That's smart. But it wouldn't make sense. It would not make sense. Because if that was true, why would he help us correct that Nozomi was not the culprit? He would just let everyone vote for Nozomi and he would have graduated, so this don't make no sense. Shitanda's not the culprit, because he wouldn't have helped us. This would have gone to his advantage. He could have just lied when we said, hey. Well, no, we didn't even ask him for his testimony. We asked Kanda, he volunteered that information. So it's between you, Shinono, and Tomoe. And I don't know, I feel like this might be an honest way of thinking. So it might be Tomoe because you honestly trying to think about it, but I don't know, that kind of also seems a little suspicious. But now is he one of the final suspects? If we're talking about someone who benefited from a trick, it's obviously Shitanda.
What's more, back then, all of a sudden, they even tried to deceive us. And
Well, come on, he went and testified for Miyuki, so it doesn't add up. Excuse me. Well, I can't deny this. When I hear like this, it does seem objectively suspicious. But don't forget, you are also one of the suspects. It's not me. If we're calling who's the culprit, it's definitely this guy, of course. They always manage to ruin the mood, and their deductions always lead us in the wrong direction. If they're not the culprit, then who is? Are y'all just not remembering that he went and came out and volunteered to testify on behalf of Miyuki? A culprit would not do that. He would just let us go wrong. I'm trying to think. Imagining if he was the culprit, why would he go and help Miyuki? I'm just trying to see if there's any counter argument. If they vote for Miyuki, how does that benefit him? I mean, if they don't vote for Miyuki, how does that benefit him? If he's the culprit, it doesn't benefit him. Yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to think. Is there any reason? No. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't mind if this guy ended up being dead on this occasion. Whoa, critical hit. Sachi Jumonji, it really hurts to hear those words from you. Now, the deductions are still underway. Instead of indiscriminately casting blame, perhaps you should all lower your voices.
Tomoe, you're also one of the suspects.
That I cannot deny. In any case, I thought that logical reasoning should take priority over baseless slander. That's right. We need to go a step or two further. There must be a way to turn these three people into one. How to approach the idea will be the new challenge, I suppose. Come on, like Shinono's the only one that makes sense because he went and had this camera. He showed us his camera. Ooh, girl. Erica, girl. And y'all separated. Okay, so Shinono had this camera. He had a time on this camera. He gave us times all with the camera. He's the only one who knew that book came at the library at a certain time. Like, how would Tomoe and Shitanda know that? I don't know how they would know that. And he was one of the people who had to go around searching for the toilet paper. Well, and he didn't find anything. Well, Erica didn't find anything either. Shitanda, no one found anything. But I don't know. But Shinono, him being able to go out, he had a reason to go outside of the library to go and find the toilet paper with Erica. he could have taken the time to go and hide the toilet paper again in a more secure place. I don't know. No, there's no need to bring that up. It's already blatantly revealed. Really? Did you figure out who the culprit is? How? It's blatantly obvious. What do you mean? Questions are pouring in. First of all, to answer Shaoxin's question, of course, that's because another clue has emerged with the culprit's movements. Up until now, all we knew about the culprit's movements was that they hit Kizuki at the scene and ran off, then hid the toilet paper in the men's locker room. But because of that deduction, we got additional information that the culprit returned to the scene and switched the case, right? I see. Exactly. Come on now. Pay attention. So the culprit is Mr. Sawashino, who needed to return to the scene after leaving the 59th album there at 30 minutes. Basically, anything after 30-minute mark doesn't count, right? The culprit tried to frame those without alibis between the 30th and 47th minute mark using the trick, didn't they? Of course, the culprit must have an alibi from 30 minutes to 47 minutes, so there's no way they could have gone back to the scene during that time, right? So the culprit will be the person who had an alibi from 4:47 to 5 p.m.
This will make it even narrower, right? Misaki, quickly take out the alibi list.
No, that won't be the case. Huh? Why? Isn't the basis for the hour something you associate with Kizuki's presumed time of death? However, re-entering the murder scene is not limited to only during the estimated time of death. It can be done at any time without any problem. If you don't hide the toilet paper immediately after murder, the risk is high. But in the case of the weapon, it's different. It can be substituted at any time.
Still, if you get caught before you make the switch, doesn't that mean you can't use the entire trick? I think it's better to quickly rush the scene and switch them out as soon as the 47-minute mark has passed.
If they're caught before reaching the scene, they can simply discard the entire trick. I believe that acting cautiously is more in line with the behavior of an ordinary person than recklessly charging ahead without considering the situation. What do you think? Okay, I was reading slow because I'm trying to understand what he's trying to say now.
That's certainly a valid point.
Alright, then let's include that in our calculations and try to deduce it.
How? We don't know the alibis for 5 p.m., do we? Well, since we're at it, why don't we just listen to them now?
Because I was gonna say, like, if you just get alibis now, I mean, you can just make anything up. Because we know what the conditions are supposed to be right now, so they can just make up a perfect alibi. But if it's not verifiable, then I guess it doesn't matter anyway what you make up, because it has to be verifiable.
Those three guys over there, what did you do from 5 to 6 p.m. before our dinner gathering?
No, there's no need to do that, Tsubaki.
What?
During the investigation, I came across some pieces of evidence rather incidentally. Interestingly, just those alone are enough to figure out who the culprit is.
Who is it?
The time for atonement has arrived. No one in the space can stop me. No matter what anyone says, I will definitely point out the culprit myself. Shinano.
Mr. Shinano's the culprit.
What is this?
I can't believe it. Shinano, how could you do this? How could you? No, I'm innocent.
Oh. I simply called your name. Okay.
I see. Yeah, right. I believe in you.
I don't know. I think it's Shinano too, but Who? Okay, we'll just see. It's too late now. I remember this until the day I die. Anyway. Does anyone remember what Shirano said after showing us the video of the dining hall? How do you remember that? Erica should remember, right? Yeah. Of course I remember. It went like this. That's it. Oh, hold on. Wait, this is suspicious. He was like, didn't he say it don't matter? He said it don't matter. Hold on. If I remember correctly, there's over an hour of video left after this. Is it okay to stop here? We chatted among the three of us until 6 p.m. dinner gathering. There was nothing special, so you don't need to watch it. Okay, so he has an alibi, I think. Were you with Mikawa the whole time? I thought he wouldn't be able to hold out and would have bailed by then. I just couldn't escape.
How embarrassing. It's all been recorded.
That's what you needed? Yeah, I don't remember very clearly either, so thanks for clarifying.
That's amazing, seriously.
Yeah, that's right. Hearing that all brings it back. Shinono said that he stayed at the diner with Kanna and Mikawa until 6 p.m. after that. After the group gathered at the diner for the evening gathering, everyone acted together. There wouldn't been a chance to visit the scene as was the case. So it's Tomoe. Well, Shitanda's technically the culprit, but Shitanda didn't do it. Tomoe, I'm gonna be so upset if it's you. I loved you so much. Right, Kana and Mikawa, everyone remembers, right? Yes, of course.
If we hadn't chatted, we would have been in big trouble. You're definitely off the suspect list. And the remaining people...
Next is where Shitanda testified to his alibi, stating that he was tagging along after suggesting it to Daira. Jumonji, do you remember this too?
Not a problem.
Tomoe. I'm gonna be so sad. Tomoe. Why, Tomoe? I was like, he gives off the vibes of a murderer so much. Like, I can imagine him committing a crime of passion. I can imagine that. Because he seems unhinged. He seemed unhinged. And he was going a little unhinged with Ukyo earlier. He was talking with Kizuki about how life, you know, his respect or love of life or something like that. He lost it. Now she's helped to find it. I don't know. He just seems like a type of person. He could commit a crime of passion if he gets enraged enough. I don't know. He was ready. I think he was ready to do something. Until he was ready to like kill someone or hurt someone. He was or co-signing Kuzu, something like that. Kuzu's like corporal punishment. He was saying something during that one lunch gathering that we all had that made me was like, don't worry. It's only a matter of time. I'm still upset. So you two just stopped by the dining hall briefly and left. So I was wondering what that was about. I had no idea something like this had happened. So the three of you were together the whole time until 6 p.m.?
That's probably how he is. He's like a leech that never let go for a single moment.
Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Yikes, critical hit.
たく
You've been following her around for a while now. This could be easily called stalking, you know. Please refrain from doing that next time. It was like that. No to explain, right, Chitanda? Just like Shinano didn't deviate from the path until 6 p.m. and remained near Tadara and Justin. There wouldn't have been a chance to switch. Affirmative. He was there. We didn't sight. Vidin always sight. Then... The moment when the denominator decreases from 2 to 1, all veils are stripped away. Come on, Tomoe. Why'd you do it, Tomoe? And in this moment, only one person remains within my sight. For the sake of this moment, I barely held onto my heart, which feels like it's about to burst. All for this very moment. I raised my finger and pointed it forward to declare the only possibility left. There's no one else it could be but you. Come on, Tomoe. I really liked you. I really liked you.
君しかいないよ
I'm so mad. So mad. So mad. Rintaro Tomoe. That's impossible. Rintaro Tomoe, am quite perplexed. Everyone seems to be giving me the cold shoulder. What's going on? I guess it can't be helped. Everyone knows by now that there are no more variables. There's no longer any room for the culprit to manipulate things, and there's no chance of the case taking another turn. You're the culprit. No, but why are you so sure? Isn't it possible that there are other possibilities that we haven't considered yet? You of all people, Mr. Miyuki, would know better than anyone, having once been labeled the culprit yourself, wouldn't you? If anything, it's because I was the one desperately trying to find a breakthrough that I noticed so well. There are no more loopholes in the logic we've established. But this is unfair. How can you say I did something I truly did not do? Saying like that, it makes it hard to argue. Just focus on one thing, please. You don't even like looking for the culprit, do you? Still, while it is undoubtedly true that one must be cautious when life is at stake, it's becoming hard to deny that we've truly reached the end. No, but can we really just decide things like that? Are you sure that there isn't some other trick that we're not expecting? I think we need to look into this I think we need to look into this a bit more thoroughly. Isn't there someone among us who has already thought of the idea of switching the case right away? We need to thoroughly examine whether the culprit has secretly tampered with anything else or if there's anything we overlooked. Excuse me. That's right. Just as there have been 2 previous instances, couldn't new possibilities arise again? No. The verification on that has already been completed. Since we're at it, should I say it? Yes, I would appreciate it if you could. Think about it logically. How could the culprit know that the kid with the camera was going to bring the weapon to the library at 4 p.m. and then use it to set up that trick? Oh. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, who would know that? So you're saying that wasn't a trick? That's just how it happened to be? I don't know. Wow, that's definitely true, isn't it? Shinono didn't know that they were bringing the weapon. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Did someone tell them or did they do it on their own? If Shinono didn't know that they were bringing the weapon, it wouldn't have even crossed their mind as a trick, would it? The kid with the camera in the top to go around bragging about it, so the culprit knew about it. There's only one possibility, right? It's about witnessing Shinano directly. I'm talking about Shinano walking down the hallway holding the album. I imagined that they were hiding the toilet paper, then frantically running towards the private rooms when they bumped into someone.
Right. Of course, the culprit would have evaded the camera kid, and thus the camera wouldn't capture a fangame.
Right. I saw no one or anything in between. Also, can you please stop calling it that way?
The culprit, seeing that, figured from experience that it would take about 30 minutes to get to the library, and immediately incorporated that into her plan. The misfortune of almost being discovered after running into Mr. Shirano became the starting point at the 30-minute mark for yet another trick. It was so frightening.
But wouldn't that make the trip a little flimsy? There's no guarantee that I went straight to the library with the book. I could have stopped by the bathroom on the way.
That's...
Okay. There's so much stuff happening right now. I'm trying to take it all in. Okay.
We'll go over that later for a smoother explanation. For now, just keep it in mind. What's up with you all of a sudden? So, how does that to connect with me being the culprit any other way? Let's go back to the story about encountering the camera kid. At that time, the culprit must have seen the album the camera kid was carrying. It just occurred to me that if you swap that with the weapon you had, you have an alibi. So, what would the culprit do as soon as possible?
It'll probably swap it out as soon as possible. Oh, no. Oops. Girl. I messed up. It'll probably meet someone? Okay. Meet someone as soon as possible. If they swap the album Shirano left behind, wouldn't that flip the estimated time of the crime from before 30 p.m. to after 4:30 p.m.? As the culprit, you need to meet someone before it's too late, so you can establish an alibi and finally benefit from the trick.
That's exactly it. Well then, let's take another look at your alibi, you lanky good-for-nothing bastard. Here, according to the list...
At 20 minutes, stopped by the warehouse and saw Egg on the power spaces. 1 minute later, I left the warehouse and returned to my private room. At 30 minutes, I visited the store and conducted some investigation while talking with Shitanda until 3 minutes later before returning to my private room. At 30 minutes. Come on now.
Tomoe's alibi is... went to the store at 30 minutes, had a conversation with Shitanda until 53 minutes, conducted an investigation, and returned to the private room. That's what you said. Starting just 30 minutes in, the fact that they coincidentally met someone who was already there is very similar to the suspect's movements, isn't it? Even more, considering that Shitanda was already there and that you were the one who visited. It sounds like he was looking around to meet someone else, as if to create an alibi. So, he was saying that he happened to meet Mrs. Shitanda, who was there at the time. Well, of course, it's impossible to identify the culprit just based on this, but if you pinpoint a specific person to compare, you can get the picture. Your doubts that Shirano raised here are also resolved. For the culprit, the worst case scenario was that you would head straight to the library. In other words, as you arrive there at 4:30 p.m. The earlier you put the album at the library, the harder it would be to establish an alibi. Frankly speaking, if they can't find a decent person within 30 minutes, they'd have to throw all the tricks they come up with down the drain. So, as a culprit, he would have felt relieved if he had an alibi for at least 30 minutes.
I kind of understand, but then again, maybe not.
Simply put,
The culprit's biggest concern was the possibility that Shinono would arrive at 4:30. It seems like you're saying that it wouldn't have been a big problem if you arrived at the library even later. Am I understanding that correctly? Hello, Cauliflower, howdy. How are you? I'm doing well today. How are you doing? Yes, correct. As expected from a leader. It is excessive to accuse me of being a culprit based solely on that. Isn't it just a mere assumption? Assumption, yeah. Isn't that just a mere assumption? I want to say assumption, not assumption. Assumption. Isn't that just a mere assumption? There we go. There's no evidence whatsoever that Mr. Shinono and the culprit even met, is there? I'm lost too, actually, because I'm like, how do we know that the culprit Shinono met? How do we know that? I don't know how we know that. You say that after seeing the recent arguments? The moment that the culprit saw Shinono is now considered an established fact. And there's a continuation of that. How did the culprit know that the album Shinono was carrying was a 59th generation album? Does Shinono not remember anything? I'm just confused. The case wouldn't have any numbers written on it, and at best, they would only be written on the spine of the book. Really? It can't just be a coincidence. Isn't that just something they picked up from the book card and put it there? Usually, when you return a book, you can just put it on the book card. Isn't that an uncertain method? Even although the crime may have been impulsive, the perpetrator's actions after were highly calculated. He wouldn't take a gamble like going back to the scene unless he had a certain near guarantee that the trick would work. But I still don't know how. I mean, I understand. I think that is what happened, but how do we know that Tomoe and Shinono met? I think I know. What? That is... Do you remember? I showed you that video as evidence, right? Uh-huh. Isn't it really amazing? Just by mentioning these names, I get to just by mentioning these names, I get to be a classmate with such great people. I actually only brought the 59th class album. I think I should set aside sometime later and bring everything else at once to take photos. It's the video when he was walking, the ground corridor near the stairs of the building on the first floor of the school. Shinono keeps talking about the 59th generation as he walks to the library. The culprit listened to this and deduced that the album I'm moving is the 59th generation album, right? Isn't that all there is to it? Even if the school building was wide and sounds could be heard far away, if someone was not in close proximity to Shinono, it would have been impossible to know the detailed circumstances. In other words, the culprit was likely near Shinono when he was walking to return books to the library. That's what I'm like, we need evidence. I need evidence for this. How do we know that someone was watching him? Was I being watched back then? Was Tomoe hiding somewhere out of sight watching me? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Tomoe. Starting to freak out. That's ridiculous. What do others think? Is there anyone who has noticed the reason why I'm not the culprit, or the possibility of a new deception? Miss Ego, do you have any idea at all? Anything would help.
How pathetic. Sis, you don't understand. You're clinging to others.
I wouldn't go as far as to say it's pathetic. Even I felt almost exactly the same way as before I miraculously remembered my fear of water. So, do we have to wait until something else comes to mind?
That's gonna be a bit annoying.
Oh.
That's gonna be a bit annoying. The suspects keep changing, which is entertaining to watch. We can't stretch this out indefinitely.
There was no need for that in the first place, was there? That guy is definitely the culprit.
Mrs. Chitanda, if that's the case, who was the culprit you initially suspected? Was it Mr. Tomoe or...
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, well...
Okay. Alright, I'll just tell you straight. The culprit I suspect is Tomoe. So that's the case. That's not... Did I say too much? It felt like a knockout blow. In that case, what if we do it like this? Actually, there was one mistake in my testimony. You can't just change the testimony like this, child. You cannot just change the testimony like this. This is embarrassing for you, don't worry. I'm sorry, this is embarrassing. After meeting Mrs. Chitanda at 4:30 p.m., Mrs. Chitanda was away from his place for about 8 minutes. It was under the pretense of going to the restroom. Like, hello? Hello? Don't worry, you can't just mix things up. You just made stuff up. You can't just make stuff up. What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Okay, don't wait. This is Tomoe. Rintaro Tomoe. Come on now. Rintaro Tomoe. Come on now. You can't just conveniently make up. Okay. How do you not say that someone was gone for 8 minutes? 8 minutes. 8 minutes is, it's not that long, but it's substantial. But you said you were talking to him the whole time. I don't know. This is come on now. This is so embarrassing for you. I might have overlooked it because 8 minutes seems like such a short time, but is the 8 minutes actually enough time to go up to the library and commit the murder? Okay. I'm getting mad at you for real. I'm getting mad at you because this is shameless. This is shameless. So the suspect is no longer just me. How it matters now? One of the conditions is a culprit 8 minutes without. One of the conditions of culprit, person without alibi from 18 to 30 minutes, unnecessary from 30 minutes onward.
Isn't that because all of those without an alibi between 30 and 47 minutes were eliminated as a suspect, opening up new possibilities? Based on Tomoe's current testimony, the alibis of both Chitanda and Tomoe become less reliable. There's no guarantee that the switching trick definitely took place. So that means Mrs. Chitanda can't escape the list of suspects either.
Oh, I see. Understood. Okay, Chitanda came to our defense though. Are y'all just not remembering that?
It's okay. If you happen to have any more things you don't understand, please let me know. No, why are you even taking what they said seriously? It's obviously a ridiculous lie.
Of course it's a lie. I stayed right where I was. Did you ever say that? You're just making things up. You never said that.
Or how about the testimony that around 4:20 p.m. I saw Mr. Miyuki going up the stairs?
Hello? Do you think I'm that dumb?
See? It's all just nonsense. He keeps tempting us down various paths. This is the very image of a culprit setting a trap itself. Oh, so your finding men is not just a delusion, huh? No, it's not what you're thinking. That means your deductions are flimsy and a superficial thing, vulnerable to being refuted at any moment. Please reconsider, please. I, Tomo Rintaro, though lacking both ability and wit, humbly beg of you all, please find another way. Anyway, it's fine. You don't have to believe me. However, just one different possibility. Even though I thought everything was blocked, there's a tiny hole that exists. Just finding that one is enough for me.
Why do you keep asking us to find you loopholes?
Please grant my request.
I'm trembling. In my vision, once clear like a silver coin, dark clouds return to my thoughts. I said it with such confidence, but do I truly have an unwavering conviction that Tomo is the culprit? Even as all the evidence, all the logic leads to a single conclusion, could there still be a tiny possibility that opens a new path? This is why, if this ever happened in real life and I was ever in an actual class trial, ooh, like, you know, the Danganronpa main games kind of seem so easy. But like, this is going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I'm like, if this actually happened, like, I'd be scared that we will all die.
Thinking too much. Why is that? It's a good habit to reconsider.
Yeah, just let it go. All I need is determination to break through the situation. If we can't come to a conclusion, all the deductions we made until now are meaningless. No, Tomoe, you are the culprit. It can't be any other way. Oh, that face, Tomoe. Oh, Tomoe.
In the end, is that what your conclusion is? After all this, isn't what you all really want is just to push me? Are you perhaps so tired of this ongoing mystery that you just want to quickly pick someone as the culprit and restore peace? That's not it. I, Rintaro Tomoe, cannot allow that. For your sake, for my sake, I cannot yield here. Even if you don't acknowledge me, I will struggle until the very end. Because you're all wrong. Because you're wrong.
To assert something so strongly, without definitive proof, it'd be hard to convince anyone. I feel bad for him. I genuinely do feel bad for him. But Tomoe, it's you, Tomoe. This is embarrassing. I feel bad for you, bro.
Even if I'm not as sharp as Mrs. Shitanda, or Miss Ego, even Mr. Miyuki, even if I'm not particularly capable, I only hope that you know my intentions for you have always been sincere. I will deny everything. Please follow along closely.
If I can present that definitive evidence, then that will be the evidence of this. Oh, is it because the fact that I thought that that piece of toilet paper dropped out of the album when they took it out, but it must have dropped off of his sleeve on the table because he was one of the people doing the fingerprints, right? Yep, Tomoe, come on.
Probably thinking like this. You're contorting me with logic, aren't you? You're thinking you're one step away, right? No, not it.
You don't even know how to obtain the weapon, do you? You also don't know the exact movements of the killer or the timeline of the crime. Furthermore, there is no evidence that the swap trick was carried out. That's true, I suppose. All you're discussing is just empty logic, theoretical at best. It's nothing more than mere imagination. It's impossible to convince everyone. There's still evidence I haven't presented yet. What could these people be pointing to? Probably thinking like this. Not it. Don't even know how to obtain the weapon. No. Exact moments, movements.
それは違うよ。
それは違うよ。Tomoe. No, there is evidence. You saw it too, didn't you? Excuse me? What are you talking about? Besides Tsubaki Mikawa, you've seen the evidence too. Huh? Eh? Mikawa, me too? What? That's... with this many people? Surely not. Yes, I talked to you guys when we were in the middle of the fingerprint analysis, right? And then I found this. And I took out the evidence that I put in my pocket back then and showed it to everyone. What is that? It seems like a rather small object. I can't see it very well though. I can see that's a small piece of paper. To be precise, it's a piece of toilet paper. This is something I found on the desk where I, along with the fingerprint team, were working. Just looking at it, it's just trash. Right, is this what you call evidence? Of course, it's essentially trash, but there's something peculiar about this scrap of paper. Right, it wasn't there at first. What do you mean by that? Ah! That thing from back then. I remember now. It definitely wasn't there when you started talking to us. It suddenly appeared when we were talking, right? You mean it happened during the conversation? Right. That's exactly it. Isn't it obviously strange? Was it really that important? I honestly thought it was just some trash when it was dropped. I thought the same at first. That a piece of toilet paper stuck to someone's clothes had suddenly fallen off. But is there really any chance that a piece of this size would stick to our clothes? It wouldn't even wet anything. I'm still not quite sure what you're trying to say. Think about it. When I spoke to you guys, you weren't really doing anything noteworthy, yet this piece of paper appeared. In other words, this piece of paper was very loosely affixed somewhere. And yet, why did it have to happen right when I spoke to you? It should have happened earlier. That would have been normal. While they were watching, something special happened, didn't it? I don't know what it was though. Something special, you say? What happened back then? What happened back then? Miyuki came over and asked us something about the weapon. Nico gave us some explanations and we collected fingerprints from the book. What did you do before collecting fingerprints? Huh? We took the book out of the case. We took the book out of the case first. That's it. Okay, so I was right that it was in the bookcase. I don't know why it took them this long to figure that out. I was like, come on now, why would it? If you know the toilet paper was taken away, we see a piece of toilet paper. We were messing with this bookcase. Why did no one think that that piece of paper fell out of the bookcase? That didn't make any sense to me, how they just took that long to figure that out. That's it. That scrap of paper fell out when we pulled the book out of the case. What? Well, if that was the only action that was done, then that's probably the right answer, isn't it? So, what does that have to do with the swap trick? Ah, I think I know. That little piece of paper, it was wedged between the book and the case, wasn't it? Oh, it was there? Right. All the fingerprints on the case had already been collected by the time we talked. If it had been on the outside, there's no way the three of us wouldn't have noticed. And I thought a little about why that piece of paper might have gotten in there. Wouldn't it be difficult to assume that Shinano, who was the last to touch the book, put it in? It seems like something as small as a piece of tissue paper would be difficult to fit neatly into a case unless you went out of your way to put it in. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't me who put it there. So that's what proved the book was switched. It means the culprit had to take the book out of its case. The culprit took it out? How could such a conclusion be drawn from a mere scrap of paper? And you know, I'm so dumb myself. I'm dumb myself. Because I sat up here and immediately knew that a scrap piece of paper was inside of that case. I should have known that there's no way that a scrap piece of paper could just slide its way in between the cracks of the case of the book. And I'm pretty sure I knew that the book was out of its case for some reason. So I don't know why I didn't think of the trick that the books were swapped. I don't know why I didn't think of that. That should have, thinking that, but not the fact that the books were switched. Come on, Pascal. Could have done better. And then with the books been switched, I could have thought like, why would they switch the book? Why would they switch the book? What's so important about this book? Oh, the time that was brought in. And then I could have realized that, oh, the times don't match up. They don't add up. And then I probably could have guessed Tomoe instead of Ukyo. Oh gosh. The culprit took it out? How could such a conclusion be drawn from a mere scrap of paper? What's wrong? We've already done this countless times. Instead of using gloves, you're wrapping your hands in paper while investigating, right? There's no way. Are you trying to say that the culprit was wearing tissues on their hands or taking the book and swapping it? Yeah, that's what I thought. Isn't that the only other option? The culprit's hands would have been soaked in sweat from the stress, so it wouldn't be strange if tissue tore at the slightest friction. There's something else to pay attention here. The fact that the culprit wrapped tissue around their hands contradicts the culprit's suggestion a spontaneous crime, as it implies the culprit was fully prepared. But the culprit didn't remove the book from its case immediately after the crime. In other words, the conclusion is that the culprit returned to the scene after committing the murder and removed the book from the case. Isn't that the only piece of evidence suggesting a swap trick was pulled off? Here's the thing that's getting me. The thing that's getting me is the fact that if Rintaro Tomoe, if he had just not done anything, if he just did not touch the crime scene, he probably could have gotten away with this crime. Because the only reason why we've been able to pinpoint him is because it has to be a man, because the toilet paper had to be removed and put in the men's locker room. So if he did not touch that toilet paper, that wouldn't have been a piece of evidence. 2, we have to see people whose alibis line up with trying to create an alibi after 4:30 when they heard that Shinano was the one, when they heard that Shinano brought that book there at 4:30 p.m. If he had not tried to change this book or do anything like that and try to create this alibi thing, to get an alibi at 4:30. Like, him making this alibi at 4:30 really like put the spot right there on him. So if he had just not done anything, if he just done nothing, he would have not been able to be suspected. I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to think, like, is there anything that really like pinpoints him that he did not do? The toilet paper being moved was his own deliberate choice. Him switching the books was his own deliberate choice. Him using the switched book trick to create an alibi ended up making it so that we know when he wanted to create this alibi at 4:30 p.m. Like, no way, like, you could have just not done anything and no one would have known. Literally no one would have known. I don't know, I might be missing something else that could have also pinpointed him. Because I'm trying to understand, like, he didn't even need to do all this. If he hadn't even tried to do all this, he wouldn't have been caught.
I can't believe that such a deep meaning was contained in something that I just ignored as trash. If you still won't acknowledge this, then I have to drive the point home.
Drive home?
It's almost an extension of what we said earlier. Remember how we mentioned that the culprit probably saw Shinano?
Oh, that's right. They wouldn't have been able to design the alibi trick using the swap if they hadn't seen him, right?
But in actuality, designing the trick requires one more piece of evidence. Do you know what it is?
What? What else do you need?
The conditions for the disguised culprit are no alibi from 4:30 p.m. to 4:47 p.m. Oh! 47-minute marks when Mr. Mikao brought the ladder. Knowing that Mr. Mikao took the ladder is also an important essential element in the trick.
Right.
Right. Actually, the culprit must have noticed the ladder was missing from the library, so they played it off as a coincidence. Even so, they were risking going back to the scene, so they probably wanted to handle it properly.
Oh, I see now. It's like he checked Tomoe's alibi on the list again. Let's see. Tomoe, stop by the warehouse. Stop by the warehouse at 20 minutes and saw Ego and Mikawa's faces. At this time, the existence of the ladder that Mikawa was using was confirmed. Wait, so then once you figured out that the switch trick was used, you could have identified Tomoe as the culprit? I'm so mad I didn't figure this out.
You can't do that. How would you know if someone secretly saw the coward guy going up to get the ladder?
It's a bit unreasonable to identify the culprit with just that. In a situation like this, where the culprit hasn't been identified, you could present it as one piece of evidence. I wish you told me this sooner. I almost died of my own deductions.
Really? I didn't know.
Oh, Tomoe, his face though. Tomoe, oh.
Tomoe? I'm starting to wonder, what kind of answer will you give this time? Then, Tomoe is really the culprit?
Tomoe, it's really you.
How could you do this? You were close to Kyuzuki, right?
Yeah, exactly too.
You even talked to her. Were all those things you said back then all lies? Oh, to have such wonderful people as my classmates. I, Rinto Tomoe, will finally be able to find a good connection. No, I, Rinto Tomoe, will I finally be able to find a good connection? Your words might have become the clue. I feel much, no, far better now.
What good connection? What classmate?
If you can talk, then speak. Why did you kill Kizuki?
No, you have to consider the context.
What?
Before saying that, did you forget what Tomoe said previously? Well, I'm not sure if I should be telling you this. It seems that my beliefs are wavering right now. Isn't that ridiculous? Yeah, he did say that. That's what made me think he was gonna kill someone. I don't know what that high and mighty conviction of yours is, but if you killed a friend you were so close to, it must be because of that.
You stay quiet. How would you know?
Now he's making such a fuss even when we're trying to do something seriously. I don't think I read that right, but it's okay. Alright, calm down. We haven't even pinned Tomoe as the culprit yet. I considered a favorable selection sufficiently. Fashion model, speak. Are you the culprit? Not yet. Not yet. What? Tomoe, you about to have a breakdown. Come on, Tomoe, what's going on with you?
It's not time yet. I'm still not ready yet. This is the first time I've seen Tomoe not using honorifics.
Mayuri Katsura 8383, hello, howdy, how are you doing today? Welcome. We basically just found out who the culprit of chapter 2 is. You're not ready? Tomoe, what do you mean?
He's not talking to us, is he?
How would you know that?
Just a feeling.
It's fine. But still, I'm not ready yet. Only I had a little more time, I might find the answer, but there's no time. Tintaro, come on. Please. The jig is up. The jig is already up. It's been up. Miyuki. Yes? You certainly wrap things up neatly. At this rate, everyone here will think I'm the culprit. If we're able to put it to a vote right now, it will be a landslide victory. Nevertheless, I will not give up. From now on, I will cease the logical and rational rebuttals. Why though? This is nothing but a tantrum. It will be disgusting, pathetic, and so ugly that Mr. Miyuki will be appalled. He will be so eager to hang me up on the execution platform, having given up on me being a human right at this moment. But even so, I, Rintaro Tomoe, will not give up. That is because I don't have any time left now. Just admit it already, there's no one left to retreat. Miss Kizuki gave up her life. Surely, Mr. Miyuki, you understand the significance of this. Even though I want to step back, even though I want to retreat, I must not. Even though I don't want to make excuses, I must. Even if there's no time left, we must somehow manage to tie down the clock's hands. What do you mean no time? What is this issue that he has with time? What are you talking about? Didn't you kill Kizuki? You said she sacrificed herself? Come now. I will not back down. With this frail body, I will withstand all of Mr. Miyuki's attacks. Though I'm still foolish and have not yet realized, please come at me with all your might. Excuse me. From now on, the argument will begin. Would you like your explanation? Yes. Because I kind of forgot. Mama's own theories upon I like to listen to the protagonist. Ghost destroy, do that. Temple the song, press the space bar on the screen. Allows you to support the argument, guide your damaging, okay? If the opponent runs out of health, he or she will be able to make fun of it. Okay. Press the button to correct order. Okay. There's no game over if you. Okay. Oh, look at him. Are those ballet shoes? I did something bad. You must remember I did something bad. Why is this happening? I did something bad. Wait, what happened? Wait, what happened? Hello? Oh, are we just not gonna have that? Is this the end? It seems I, the unworthy, could only achieve this much. You don't intend to surrender, do you? Believe me, I want to. My legs aren't listening to me. I feel like I can kneel down I can kneel down right now. I can feel my anger rising. It feels like I'll collapse if I lose focus for even a moment. Should I say one thing? I know that feeling because I've experienced it. That very emotion was what I felt when I saw Kizuki's body. If I had collapsed at that moment, it might have been the end. Somehow, I managed to gather my thoughts and endure, and was able to push you to the edge like this. So I'm gonna ask, why did you kill Kizuki? Oh, is it really because your beliefs collapsed just like what Shitano was babbling about? How much do you know about the beauty I pursued, Mr. Miyuki? Haven't you been emphasizing this so many times? How could I not know? Life itself is what you said. That's right. The act of breathing and sustaining life activities. That was the most fundamentally beautiful thing, and it was the paramount value that I had to protect, worshipped, and fear. Why is that past tense? Did you have a change of heart and decide to worship death instead of life? To be honest with you, I don't know either. What? I just can't understand. Why did Miss Miyuki have to pass away? It seemed like I'm about to grasp something, but I just can't quite catch it. What is happening right now? Are you trying to say that he did not kill him? I mean, he did not kill her? What is going on? Because we just stopped the argument all a minute. What is happening at this moment? What nonsense is this? Are you trying to escape the fact that you killed Kizuki? Come to your senses. You who love being alive so much ultimately drove Kizuki to her death. You have to accept the outcome before things get any uglier. No! That's precisely why I can't accept it. Because I'm left with the duty to interpret her death. I don't have time for this. I need to think, even for a moment, about why Kizuki had to die so soon. If that's not the case, you should at least consider why my beliefs were shaken. Are you going to stop? It's not that I'm not curious about the reason why you committed the murder, but it seems reasonable to hear the details at least. Yet why are you still holding on? At this point, it's practically a mission of murder. Why is it so hard to accept the results? Since Mr. Miyuki doesn't understand me, that's probably why he's saying that. Do you know how painful it is when the beliefs you've devoted your entire life to begin to waver? You've been saying all this talk about belief this and belief that. I don't know how painful it is for you to have your precious beliefs shaken, but it must be less painful than being murdered. like Kizuki. Plus, you've laid out your deception so brazenly everywhere in this case, haven't you? That didn't seem like the attitude of someone who's so dejected in anguish. Didn't you just want to kill anyone, friend, or whoever, and escape from here? For you, Kizuki was that kind of person, wasn't she? The same label was for us too. It can't be. It's not possible. Kizuki was my precious friend. Did you kill your friend? Your beauty really seems to worship death now, doesn't it? No, death is still something I fear and want to avoid. Yet, if that's not the case, then does that explain why you killed Kizuki? Aren't you just making excuses for yourself? That's true. Perhaps I've been lying to myself all along. If I let go, if I give up, it could become easier. Those words. So he's finally ready to confess? Yeah, you've been ignoring your feelings all this time. It's good to confess in good faith. Yes, I suppose that might be the case. Tomoe? I turn a blind eye to my heart. Without any more... Oh, he's about to pull out his fortune? Without any more words, Tomoe put his hand in his pocket with a look as if he was entranced by something. He pulled something out. It's a piece of paper I've seen before. Come on, were you really just motivated by these fortune-telling things? Do not turn away from your own art. It's showing you a truth more transparent than anything else. Unbelievable. Why did it have to come to me at a time like this? That's just a phrase randomly generated by a machine. So what's the point? I think Miss Egger was right. The Rhetorica is indeed a machine that gives advice tailored to the person inserting the coin. This is the first piece of advice I had ever got from the Rhetorica. Do you remember, Miyuki? I even read it out loud. Back then, I really didn't understand a word from it, but to think that you would help me like this. This story is taking a weird turn, so what are you gonna confess? Confession. You want a confession? I would like to say that there's a misunderstanding, Miyuki. I'm scared right now, like I'm frightened. What? You were saying that I'm deceiving myself? That my feelings are different? No, I simply acted according to my art. I should have known this from the beginning. It's the same as Miss Kizuki's passing. My philosophy was never wrong, just a part of it. Miss Kizuki's death, my beliefs. Why was I unaware that the two could coexist? Now I feel my head clearing up. Tomoe, calm down for a moment. Calm? There's no need. Right now is the most serene and peaceful I've been since I was born. I feel so light and free that I want to spread my wings and fly right now. But there's still no getting around the fact that I'm short on time. We need to share this beauty with more people right now. We don't have time to squabble over petty things like these. Hello? If you want a confession out of me, try pushing me again. At this moment, I am not afraid of you at all. Boldly and arrogantly, I will prove your reasoning is baseless, and you'll see my intentions through. Did that machine ultimately give him some kind of enlightenment? What is going on with him? The culprit, who was tormented by the guilt of having killed a friend and who was pushed to the brink of confession, has vanished without a trace. Before my eyes, only a madman intoxicated on his own beliefs, prepared for his final struggle, remains. This shall be the next discussion, Mr. Miyuki. As I mentioned earlier, there's no specific reason the culprit had to switch the books before 5 p.m. from 4:47 p.m. to 6 p.m. Any time is fine. Then now, how about the toilet paper? Now that has been confirmed that the culprit visited the scene twice, isn't the possibility that the roll of toilet paper must be dealt with around 4:30 p.m. gone? Couldn't they just casually visit the scene after 5 p.m., switch out the books and disappear with the toilet paper? In that case, the culprit could have used the warehouse or women's locker room to avoid Miss Ego's. Huh? How do you use the women's locker room to avoid Miss Ego and Miss Misaki? Also, what is that on his neck? Has he always had that? I just realized he just pulled his scarf down. What is that on his neck? Is that a scar? This means that the condition that the culprit is male loses its significance. What do you think, Mr. Miyuki? Frankly, your confession wasn't necessary, Tomoe. Due to the system of the class trial, as long as we can somehow push it to a vote and receive the majority decision, that's all that matters. I wanted to get a confession because I still thought of you as a friend. Well, if that's the path you ultimately chosen, if your words mean struggling to find a way out by any means, as someone who once considered you a friend, but now cannot bear to watch your behavior, I will utterly crush you. Logically, of course. Oh. He's beautiful. Please forgive me. I did my best. Please drop it. I did my best. I did my best. Oh, Shinkaji. How are you doing? Hello. How have you been? Why is it saying okay and not good? Okay, I did terribly. Under the weapon. Blood found under weapon. Wait, what? How did I mess that up? Hello? Wait, hold. My game just crashed. Oh my god. What? I'm so upset. Oh my gosh. And I couldn't save. Right? Oh, you know what? I probably could have saved that a different. Oh my gosh. Wow. The game just crashed like that. We've been playing for 3 hours. Okay, you know what? I'm just about to go on YouTube and find the translator of the game. And I'm just gonna watch the rest of it. Because I'm not about to do all that again right now. I cannot. That's so annoying. What? What the heck? Okay. Wow. Yeah, it crashed and you just got there. No, it's not you. It's not you. What's the name of this game again? Mauve? I forgot. Here we go. What the heck? I'm so upset. Okay, so now I have to figure out the last part. Wow, a trigger 1 and 2? Oh gosh, that means the end of this is gonna be crazy. Okay, let me see if this video has where we left off. Oh, no. Okay, so I'm looking at this, and it seems that there's a whole nother hour of the chapter left based on these VODs that I have of the translator of the game. So I think what I might do is that since we've been streaming for like 3 hours, I might end it here. And on my own time before next Friday, I'll try to get back to where we left off. And then we can pick up the rest of it for another stream, because it seems like we still have like a lot of time left on this in this chapter. Because yeah, I'm looking at this video, it says an hour and 14 minutes in this video, and that video didn't even pick up when we left off. That's later. So I think we have like maybe another 2 hours. I don't know. So yeah, I think this is so upsetting. What the heck? Okay. So I think we're gonna end it. Thank you for coming, Chikaji. I do appreciate you being here. So, yeah. So this is the last stream for the week. I'm gonna be away all weekend. So we'll be back on Monday to play some more Omori. And in the meantime, before we play this again next Friday, I'm gonna go and try and get back to where we left off. So I can save that and make sure I find somehow to save you. I think you can save it in one of the dialogue sections, maybe. I can't remember. I'll try to get to that point, and then we'll stream the rest of it. But yeah, so that's it. It's nice seeing you again as well, and everyone else who's still here. Thank y'all for coming. Much obliged as always. I hope you all had a good time, and I will see y'all later. Y'all come back now, you heard me? Have a good night.